Guys, Whispery Tales is back with more spine-chilling horror stories. But we're a little disappointed today. We've uploaded 15 videos and haven't seen much support. That's not how this will work. Please watch the stories till the end for the full experience. Enjoy. I moved into the old house on Maple Street because the rent was cheap and I needed quiet to finish my thesis. The landlord never met me in person, just left the keys taped to the door with a note that said, "Don't let the silence fool you." I laughed it off at first, assuming it was bad humor. The first night, I heard footsteps in the hallway, heavy, slow, like someone in boots. I told myself it was the house settling. Old houses do that. I pulled the blanket up and tried to sleep, but the steps didn't stop. They paced back and forth, stopping right outside my door. I held my breath, convinced every creak was something normal, until a knock came. 3 sharp raps, deliberate and slow. I told myself it was my imagination. The second night, the whispering started. Soft at first, something like murmured voices just at the edge of hearing. I couldn't make out words, but it felt like they were speaking about me, not to me. I sat up in bed, the darkness pressing at my eyelids. The whispering moved down the hall, stopping beneath my door. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "You shouldn't have moved in." I froze. I tried to leave the next morning, but the front door wouldn't budge. Not locked, just stuck. I flung myself against it until my knuckles bled. I gave up and turned back to the living room, where my laptop was open on the couch. I hadn't touched it since I moved in. The screen glowed with a single file titled "Welcome Home." I clicked it. The video was from inside my bedroom, taken from the corner of the room, time-stamped at 3:05 a.m. I hadn't recorded anything. I froze the video at a frame where someone stood in the darkness at the foot of my bed, tall, unnaturally thin, face obscured. I yelled, shut the laptop, and that's when I heard it right behind me. A breath, slow and low. I didn't know what was there, but it was inside the house with me, and it wasn't going to let me leave. Guys, the next story I'm about to tell won't have any images. Just listen carefully to the voiceover because this is a story meant to be heard, not seen. I took a night train to Moscow. Something went terribly wrong. I'm writing this from a hotel room in Moscow. At least, I think I am. Late one evening, I boarded a train from Yekaterinburg to Moscow. Nothing unusual. I found my seat, put my bag away, and fell asleep almost immediately. I woke up just before dawn. The carriage was empty. Not quiet. Not everyone got off at a station. Empty in a way that felt wrong. No bags, no coats, no lingering warmth from other passengers. Just me. And the steady rhythm of the wheels on the tracks. I assumed I'd wandered into the wrong car, so I walked toward the dining car. I walked through every single carriage. No passengers, no conductors, no staff. When I returned to my seat, my phone said we'd arrive at the next station in a few minutes. I decided to wait. Surely someone would be there. The train pulled into a city. That's when fear really set in. No cars, no people, no lights. The station was completely dark. And yet the city felt familiar. Not in a specific way, more like a deep, unsettling déjà vu, as if I had been there before. Many times. I stepped off the train. The city was small, silent, frozen in time. After wandering for a couple of hours, I returned to the station. The train was still there, doors open, waiting. The moment I sat down, it started moving. By then, I was painfully hungry. As I searched the train again, I heard a sound coming from a nearby compartment. I opened the door. A table was set inside. Food. So much food. The only drink was coffee. I didn't question it. I ate like I hadn't eaten in days. When I turned away, the food was gone. Completely. I fell asleep. The next morning, everything was the same. The same station, the same city. This time, I tried to escape. I walked straight toward the forest and didn't turn back. After 3 or 4 hours, I saw it again. The train. Later, I found something like a bar in the city. I don't know where it came from. Inside, food appeared the same way it had before. Suddenly, silently. And again, only coffee to drink. I ate and fell asleep right there. When I woke up, I ran to the station hoping the train would be gone. It wasn't. Days passed. I stopped counting until I realized the train had been moving for 30 days. Day 31. I went to the front of the train. No engineer. The control levers wouldn't move, as if they were welded in place. Then one of them began to move on its own. The train slowed down. We arrived at a different station. Rails stretched across a lake, an enormous oasis. A forest of impossibly tall oak trees surrounded everything. The platform seemed to float above the water. I stepped out and saw someone boarding the train. I followed him, but the moment he entered a compartment, he vanished. All that remained was a note: "Look for the staircase to the sky." When I stepped back into the platform, the train left without me. A boat rocked gently on the water. I got in, and it began moving by itself. The forest parted, the ground shifted, and it felt like I was floating along a river that shouldn't exist. We stopped at a stone pier. There was a door with a cipher on it. I realized it was a Caesar cipher. After cracking it, I went inside. I walked through darkness until I saw light. There was nothing there, except a spiral staircase leading upward. I climbed for 15 minutes. At the top was a hatch. I opened it and was blinded by light. I was standing on an unfamiliar station. Behind me, a completely empty train pulled away. In my pocket was my ticket: Yekaterinburg, Moscow, train number 58. Then another train arrived. This one was full of people, talking, laughing, alive. I got on. I made it to Moscow. Now I'm here, writing this. But sometimes I think that if I fall asleep on a train again, I'll hear that familiar rhythm of the tracks and wake up in an empty carriage.